Where's she at? I heard you was looking for me. Here I go. You called my name, but I came on my time. No running, no hiding, no begging to be understood. Say what you came to say. I brought truth to the table, and I came looking good. I heard you was looking for me. Baby, here I go. Cover raw conversations. Where's she at? I heard you was looking for me. Here I go.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Hey, sis, Aida, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Love, hey, Trings, what's going down? What's going down? All right, so let's get into it. First of all, that's what I was doing. Give me a second, y'all, because I'm also trying to pin the new channel. Y'all are gonna see lives pop up over here on my Chaos Brew as we're building cover. So make sure you guys go over to cover and subscribe because these lives won't be staying over here on my Chaos Brew. They will be exclusively available on the cover channel. And why won't it let me put that? There it is. It's in the chat now. I don't know what the heck I just did, honey. Let me pin that. Make sure that's the one that pinned. Hey, 7. All right, good. It's pinned now. It's pinned now. I gotta get my life together, honey. Hey, sissy, man, how you doing? Well, man, I got some of my star players in here. All right, so let's talk about it. I heard you was looking for me. Here I go. But understand something before we start. I didn't come because you called me. I didn't come because somebody said my name. I didn't come because the internet demanded a response. I came because I decided there was something worth saying. And that distinction matters. Because too many people have really been conditioned to believe that if somebody discusses you publicly, challenges you publicly, misunderstands you publicly, or outright lies about you publicly, you are somehow obligated to immediately appear to defend yourself. And I'm here to tell you, you are not. Sometimes silence is fear, but sometimes silence is discipline. Sometimes distance is avoidance, but sometimes distance is wisdom. And sometimes the reason you haven't heard from somebody is simply because they've moved on before you realized the conversation was over. Welcome to Raw Conversations. Tonight, we're talking about what happens when people keep looking for a version of you that no longer lives there. How a song goes, how did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. Sham. Social media has created this strange belief that everybody deserves access to everybody else. Answer me. Respond to this. Explain yourself. Come defend yourself. And I'm always left wondering, since when did another person's curiosity become your obligation? Someone saying your name does not create a contract. Someone misunderstanding you does not automatically create an assignment. Someone telling only half of a story does not mean you have to sacrifice your privacy to prove the other half exists. And this becomes especially complicated when private relationships are involved, right? Friendships, marriages, family disagreements, business relationships, private conversations. People on the outside may only know 15% of what happened, yet they're demanding 100% explanation. And I gotta tell you, some people are really toxic, right? They're not out here telling you the whole story, what they did, what they didn't do, why people don't want to be bothered. Hey JD, they're not giving you all of that. And they want you to be really riled up off of their little 15% of the story, their little nuance, okay? And sometimes giving people the explanation they demand, it would require exposing people you still love, conversations you promised to keep private, or information that simply does not belong to the public. So what happens? You stay quiet, and somebody else mistakes your discretion for an inability to respond. That's dangerous thinking, because sometimes the quietest person in the conflict knows the most. They simply have the discipline not to use everything they know. Now, you guys may be like, where is this coming from? And I'm telling you, a lot of people have been trying to get me off the porch. You know, they've been trying to make me be on my cash style. I heard you was looking for me. Here I go. Here I go. Don't jump, move. But, at this moment in my life, like, I don't have that type of energy because I don't care. You know what I mean? I want y'all to understand that silence is not an admission. And this one needs to be understood. Not responding does not mean someone else is correct. Sometimes you do not respond because the accusation is ridiculous. Sometimes you do not respond because the conversation is beneath you. I said that to somebody one day and they lost their whole cool because they really thought they were somebody. But a lot of things are beneath me. Yes, yes. And you don't ever have to lower yourself to other people's levels. Responsible for anything, and if you hold them accountable, all of a sudden they're ready to cry. Because there's a difference between accountability and performing emotional labor for spectators. You should know which one you're being asked for. Because a lot of times, people want you to genuflect to them because they want you to be emotional. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. A lot of times, I'm not the one that's emotional, so you're not going to get that. Sometimes they're looking for the old you, and this might be the most important part of the conversation because sometimes people not actually looking for you. They're looking for the version of you that they understood. Hey, drama. Hey, brother of a certain age. The version who argued back. The version who explained everything. The version who needed everybody to understand her intentions. The version who couldn't sleep because somebody somewhere had the wrong opinion. And I'm telling you, it's time to wake up. Like, they can have they wrong opinions. They'll be all right, and so will you. They're looking for the version of you who needed to correct every lie. The version who thought that clearing your name meant convincing everybody. Did I say hi to Cowboy Rod? I think I did. Hey, Cowboy Rod. Hey, Shakim. You can't convince everybody because some people are determined to misunderstand you quite on purpose. And I'm here to tell you, growth changes your relationship with being misunderstood. Eventually, you realize some people misunderstand you accidentally. Some misunderstand you because they lack information. Some misunderstand you because you communicated poorly, and some misunderstand you because the misunderstanding benefits them. The last group is important because you can provide receipts, explanations, timelines, context, screenshots, witnesses, a PowerPoint presentation with footnotes, Jesus sandals, and they're still not going to change their minds because they didn't arrive at their conclusion through evidence. They arrived there through preference. You can't fact check somebody out of a story they're emotionally committed to believing. So here I go doesn't mean let's fight. This is where maturity enters the conversation. Showing up doesn't mean swinging. Responding doesn't require spiraling. And defending yourself doesn't mean destroying somebody else. Sometimes here I go means here's the truth. Here's my position. Yes, Jesus sandals, Jesus sandals. Here's what I'll accept, and here's what I won't accept. Here's what happened from my perspective. Here's the boundary. And after I say it, I'm going home. That's power. Because chaos requires participation. And there are arguments that cannot survive unless both people keep feeding them. Stop feeding them, and suddenly you discover something interesting. What looked like a relationship was actually a reaction cycle. You responded, they responded to your response. You responded to their response, to your response. Then somebody live streamed it. Then somebody reacted to the live stream. Then 10 channels covered the reaction to the reaction to the reaction to the live stream of the reaction. And whatever friendship, whatever relationship, whatever connection, it's only entertainment. So at some point, we have to ask, does anybody remember what the original disagreement was? Is anybody listening? Is there anybody who cares? Somebody say yes. The internet has confused visibility with victory. Hey, baby. Being loud does not mean somebody won. Going viral does not mean somebody was right. Getting more comments does not mean somebody was truthful. And having more supporters does not mean somebody behaved better. And being the person everybody is talking about does not necessarily mean you lost control of the narrative. I'm going to tell you. People been keeping me on their lips for some years now. Let them talk. What's up, Riggs? Let them talk. Uh, I just sit back and laugh at the narratives. And, I heard a narrative pretty recently and I was like, dang. Y'all still focus on that. Why? That shows impact. And people oftentimes want you to give them more and more information because you're renting free spaces in their head. You're renting penthouses and landscapes and while they thinking about you, you're living. They got it. And sometimes people are talking because your absence left them with nothing else to work with. That right there is for one of my very special supporters. Understand that. Your absence left them with nothing else to work with. This is where emotional discipline matters. Don't you ever confuse popularity with credibility, attention with authority, volume with truth, or public support with private integrity. And definitely don't you ever confuse someone's refusal to fight with an inability to do so. Some people know exactly what they could say. They just decided not to become that person. Respect that. I'm one of them people. I can fight like nobody's business. If I'm giving you grace and I'm choosing peace, respect that. Because if ever I have to come back out of that bag, it's not pretty. Facts. It's not pretty. And we already know. If you know, you know. Fighting with me is not something that most people survive. Quite precision with it. But when should you actually respond? Because I'm not going to hold you. There are moments when silence stops being wisdom. You respond when a lie could materially damage your livelihood or reputation. When someone is making serious factual allegations that require correction. When your silence could allow another person to be harmed. When you owe somebody genuine accountability. When a boundary needs to be stated clearly. When important context can be provided without unnecessarily violating privacy. Or when speaking serves a purpose beyond satisfying your ego. That's why we're here today. But before responding, ask yourself, what outcome am I trying to create? And if the answer is, I want to embarrass them, I want everybody to dislike them, I want to prove I could hurt them worse, I need the internet to tell me I'm valid, then you're probably not responding from clarity. You're reacting from injury. And injured people can turn a 5-minute misunderstanding into a 5-year war. You don't have to clear your name with people that never knew you. And, I want to make sure that we clear on that. You don't have to clear your name with people who never knew you. This is a different level of freedom, baby. Everybody who heard something about you is not owed your testimony. Everybody who developed an opinion of you is not entitled to an appeal hearing. Okay? Everybody sitting in the audience is not on your jury. Some people always gonna leave believing the wrong thing. Right? Or they never really wanted to know you, Sayeda. You better say that. Let them. And Sayeda, I'm saying that directly to you. It don't mean that you don't never correct misinformation. It means you stop sacrificing your peace trying to control every person's perception of you. You hear me? Your actual life will eventually tell a much larger story than somebody else's commentary. Y'all know character has receipts too, yeah? Consistency has receipts. Hey, Beachy. Time has receipts. Growth has receipts. And sometimes the strongest rebuttal is continuing to become somebody that accusation no longer describes. But I ain't gonna hold you. And I ain't gonna let you butterflies think you getting up out of here with your hands clean. Sometimes you were wrong. Let's just call a thing a thing. Now this conversation might get a little uncomfortable. Strap your big girl panties on, strap your big boy underwears on. Because I heard you were looking for me cannot become another phrase people use to avoid accountability. Sometimes people looking for you because of something you did. Sometimes the criticism is valid. Sometimes everybody else's versions sound bad because your behavior actually was that bad. Sometimes you weren't misunderstood. You were understood perfectly and you knew what you did before you did it. So don't play like you ain't know. And if somebody says something that needs corrections, fix it. Not for the audience, but for yourself. So yeah, maybe somebody was looking for you. Maybe they've been mentioning your name. Maybe they've been telling their version. Maybe they've been waiting for you to respond. Maybe they've mistaken your peace for weakness. Maybe they've mistaken your growth for fear. Maybe they convinced themselves that because you didn't show up to fight, you somehow disappeared. Well, here I go. Don't jump, trick, move. But I'm not bringing the version of me you remember. If that's what you need to feel better, by all means. Don't let me stop you. Live your best life. Matter of fact, did I put that post on my community tab? Because I got to look and see. I'll be posting. Yeah, I did. I did. So let me share that screen with y'all so that we understand where we're at with things. They are developmentally arrested, emotionally stunted. They cannot. So the next time you hear, they talking about you, girl. They want you to respond, boy. Hey, skunk. They said your name, Noah. They looking for you. Ask yourself one question before you go running towards the microphone check. Microphone checker, supreme net protector. Hey, y'all ain't know nothing about that. Okay? Right. Real G's move in silence, okay? Do they actually need a response? Or do they need my participation? Because you know those aren't the same things, right? Some people bait you, especially in social media places, just so they continue the content. That's called content farming. And when you finally do decide to show up, do it because you choose the moment. Do it because you know what you want to say. Do it because there's some. Thank you, Beachy. You know how I do it. You know what I'm saying? Cover girl. But look, let me be careful, honey, because you got a lot of cover girls, lover girls,